In a quiet town nestled between rolling hills and sprawling markets, lived two brothers as different as day and night. Their bond was deep, but their paths in life diverged sharply, sculpted by contrasting ambitions and outlooks.
David, the older brother, was a man of action. He had a knack for spotting opportunities, though his ventures often walked a fine line between ambition and recklessness. From the moment he turned 18, he dabbled in everything from trading exotic goods to running a small fleet of delivery vans. His life was a whirlwind of activity, negotiations, deals, and experiments with new businesses. To his credit, David was charming and persuasive. He knew how to rally people to his side and could talk his way into or out of almost any situation. However, his lack of focus often led to unstable ventures, and while he earned money in bursts, he spent it just as fast. In contrast stood Michael, the younger brother, a quiet and intellectual force. He preferred books over crowds and ideas over quick profits. A natural-born strategist, Michael was methodical in his thinking and deliberate in his actions. By the age of 25, he had already earned a scholarship to a prestigious university and was well on his way to becoming a renowned economist. Michael's focus extended beyond personal success. He was deeply invested in solving systemic issues, particularly those affecting the town where he grew up. He often warned David about the risks of his hasty ventures, urging him to adopt a more calculated approach. But while David listened, he rarely heeded the advice, brushing it off as too theoretical. Despite their differences, the brothers shared an unspoken respect for each other. Michael admired David's boldness, his ability to take risks, and his resilience in the face of failure. David, on the other hand, saw in Michael the discipline and foresight he lacked and often turned to him for advice when his businesses hit roadblocks. It was a quiet evening in their shared home office when David stumbled upon a neatly folded notebook left open on Michael's desk. The notes on the page were meticulous: charts, projections, and a detailed business plan for a tech-driven agricultural enterprise that could revolutionize farming in their town. The idea was brilliant, addressing both efficiency and sustainability, with the potential for massive profits. David's eyes widened as he read through the plan. He felt a pang of envy at his brother's brilliance but also an insatiable desire to make the plan a reality. But as he flipped through the pages, he noticed something else. Michael had jotted down a list of challenges, the most glaring one being the lack of capital to execute the idea. David, meanwhile, had recently found himself flush with cash from a shady fraud scheme he had reluctantly entered. He knew the money was dirty, but it was more than enough to fund Michael's vision. Without a second thought, he pocketed the notebook and resolved to bring the idea to life, on his own terms. Over the following months, David secretly poured his newfound wealth into the business plan. He hired consultants, sourced materials, and secured land. The project was an immediate success. The cutting-edge techniques Michael had designed drastically increased crop yields, and the venture began gaining attention from investors and local leaders. David's name was soon on everyone's lips as a revolutionary entrepreneur. But while he basked in the glory, Michael remained in the dark, unaware that his stolen idea was the foundation of David's newfound success. Michael first heard about the venture during a casual conversation with a friend. The details were eerily familiar, sparking his curiosity. After some digging, he uncovered the shocking truth. David had not only used his idea but had also failed to acknowledge his contribution. Hurt and enraged, Michael confronted David one evening. "Do you think I wouldn't find out? You stole my work and built an empire without so much as a thank you." David tried to justify his actions. "I made it happen, Michael. You had the idea, but I took the risks. I turned it into reality. You wouldn't have done anything with it without me." Michael's voice trembled with anger. "You don't get to decide that. You used stolen money and my vision to build something for yourself. That's not ambition, it's betrayal." The confrontation drove a wedge between the brothers. Michael, feeling deeply betrayed, distanced himself from David. Despite his success, David couldn't shake the guilt that gnawed at him. He knew he had crossed a line that might never be repaired. Michael, though hurt, decided not to pursue legal action. The business continues to thrive. The agricultural enterprise he had built, using Michael's stolen idea, expanded beyond their town, attracting national and even international attention. Investors flocked to partner with him, and his name became synonymous with innovation and success. David now lived a life of luxury, with sprawling estates, expensive cars, and a reputation as a self-made billionaire. The scars of his past betrayal seemed to fade in the glow of his achievements. However, in the shadow of his success stood Michael, whose life remained stagnant. Michael's efforts to rebuild his life and career after the betrayal had not yielded significant results. His once ambitious plans were stalled by financial struggles, and he felt increasingly disillusioned. Watching David, who had built an empire using his intellectual work, only deepened Michael's bitterness. Why is it that I'm the one who came up with the idea, yet he gets all the rewards? Why is it that I'm the one who came up with the idea, yet he gets all the rewards? Michael often thought. His resentment grew with every news article that praised David's brilliance. One evening, Michael attended a charity gala, an event David was hosting. Seeing David on stage, confidently speaking about his journey and the vision that had driven his success, was too much for Michael to bear. "You stand up there and take credit for everything, but you know the truth," Michael said, his voice laced with anger. "That success, that wealth, it's built on my ideas. You never once acknowledged me." David, taken aback, responded defensively. "I did what had to be done, Michael. You had the idea, but I made it happen. If I hadn't acted, it would have stayed on paper forever." Michael's face hardened. "And that justifies betraying your own brother? You've made generational wealth while I'm stuck struggling because of your greed." The confrontation did little to resolve the tension. Instead, it pushed Michael further into despair. Consumed by jealousy and a sense of injustice, he began obsessively plotting ways to expose David's past. He delved into old records, hoping to uncover evidence of the fraud money David had used to start the business. Feeling cornered and desperate, Michael took a bold step. He leaked documents to the media, including copies of his original notes and evidence tying David's initial investments to the fraudulent scheme. The revelations sent shockwaves through the industry. David's empire came under scrutiny as journalists and authorities began investigating. Investors pulled out, and his reputation crumbled almost overnight. The empire he had built began to teeter on the brink of collapse. For Michael, exposing David's misdeeds brought a brief sense of satisfaction, but it came at a cost. The public feud tarnished both their reputations, and the brothers became pariahs in their community. David, now stripped of his wealth and status, was left to reflect on the choices that had led him to this point. Michael, too, was forced to confront the emptiness of his revenge. Despite everything, neither brother felt victorious.